as an outcome of the roundtable convened by the Senate President Bukola Saraki in December last year in Kano State on the rising drug abuses in the country, the Senate has developed two draft bills for legislation to tackle the menace. The proposed bill are National Drug Control Bill and National Mental Health Bill. A statement by the media office of the Senate President said the drug control bill seeks to clarify the mandate and strengthen the capacity of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration Control (NAFDAC) and other relevant law enforcement and regulatory bodies to eradicate the illicit production and trafficking of controlled substance. It also seeks to establish a central mechanism to facilitate collaboration among law enforcement, regulatory, and public health authority in line with the National Drug Control Policy. The bill further focuses on the proactive law enforcement and regulatory measures towards the eradication of the illicit importation, production, and trafficking of controlled substances. It also criminalized the diversion, distribution, or otherwise dispensing of controlled substance without a prescribed or license. On mental health bill, the statement noted that in recognition of the fact that a psychological issue, a key driver for the abuse of psychoactive substance, the bill was drafted to ensure that standard facilities are available in every state to provide mental health and substance abuse services. The proposed law guarantees protection of the rights of the people with mental illness and stipulates that mental health practitioners and facilities no longer engage in practice that are harmful to the people with mental health and substance use disorder. Commenting on the draft bill, Saraki said a provision for stiffer sanction will be made in the bill as proactive mechanism in prevention of drug trafficking and abuse. He pledged the commitment of the Senate in the speedy passage of the bill to give a legal framework to help mitigate drug abuse in the country.
Senior Special Assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on Media and Publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, has said that granting amnesty to repentant Boko Haram members will be of great benefit to the nation, as the numerous resources committed to fighting the insurgency group can be channeled into meaningful development projects in the country. Speaking to Ben Television in Abuja, Malam Garba said those playing politics with the farmers and herders crisis are only doing so because it is only the lacuna they have found in this administration, adding that farmers herders crisis predates the independence of Nigeria.
The problem between farmers and the herdsmen predates the independence of Nigeria. If you read history, you will see that farmers and the herdsmen had fought for space in this country even when British colonial rulers were here. So this is something new. I'm not saying it is welcome, but I think that there is over amplified now. There is the media spotlight on it because the opposition cannot engage Buhari administration on any other issue other than this lacuna that they have found. Whoever is peddling all of this nonsense, that the Boko Haram is being offered amnesty and so on, who doesn't want to make peace with the enemy? In any case, as it is proverbially said, all wars end up in the boardroom. You can defeat people technically on the field, but in the end you must come to the conference table and resolve all matters. So if Boko Haram will lay down their arms, will stop fighting, and will stop preaching that negative ideology, the country should be able to embrace them and welcome back all of them so that they continue to resume normal life and use as useful members of the society. What that means is that we'll be saving cost, we'll be saving lives that are being lost through bombing, through the killing of our service personnel, and we'll be saving money that we are using to procure weapons, so that that money can go into service, into infrastructure and welfare of citizens of this country. It's a win-win situation.
The presidential aide, who said this administration has done so much in areas of infrastructure development, especially in road construction, power generation, and human capital development, urged Nigerians who are complaining of hunger to key into the agricultural intervention program of this administration.
Even the PDP, with all of the things they are saying, did they give lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner to every citizen? Is there any government, is there any country in which somebody doesn't go hungry? I'm not saying it is perfectly in order, but they are overdoing it. They are just politicizing these issues. This is a government that has removed this country from the shame of food importation. 12 million Nigerians are rice farmers today, and the list is growing. If somebody says, let them go and work, I mean, that's the whole point. You know that this is the only government that has introduced a social investment scheme. We have a payout now for the poorest of the poor in our society. If they enlist, they will get this minimum of 5,000. And a lot of these jobs that are being created and loans that are of low interest, issued by central bank, issued by Bank of Industry, now Development Bank has come in, and central bank directly. So there's a lot that is going for people who really want to go out there and especially do agriculture.
While commenting on the recent uproar about President Buhari's recontesting the 2019 general elections against the backdrop of open letters by former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Ibrahim Babangida, Malam Garba said the president richly deserves another term in office.
Because he richly deserves a second term. If they like, they can come and contest against President Buhari. He will defeat them, all of them. And the president himself look, he has his passion is for the country. This is a rare president. His passion is not even for the office. This one, he doesn't even, you know, that's why everybody, when they come asking him go for a second term, he's keeping quiet. He hasn't been talking because his focus remains his focus remains the nation and the problems of the country.
He is therefore of the opinion that Nigerians should support this administration to succeed in office. From Abuja, I'm Festus Ejiroge Nefife for Ben Television.
The presidency has said President Muhammadu Buhari will not take issue with the former president Olusegun Obasanjo over his comment. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, said this in an interview. Adesina said Buhari will not engage Obasanjo, who was his senior in the military days. The presidential spokesman, however, said since Obasanjo did not say anything different from what was contained in the letter he released on the administration recently, the response provided by the federal government then was still relevant. He said President Muhammadu Buhari will not take issue with former President Obasanjo. 1. President Obasanjo was his superior in the military. The President Buhari was made a minister under him during the military regime, so President Buhari will never take issue with him. 2. What President Obasanjo had just said is not different from what he said in his letter of January 23rd. An adequate response was given to that letter by the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed. So the response the minister gave to the letter suffices to whatsoever Obasanjo had just said.
lovely place, right?
Yes.
What's wrong? You don't look happy.
Take a look around. Why can't my hotel be like this?
I knew something was wrong, but I've got solution.
Solution? What?
Nanet.
Nanet?
Nanet offers you design solutions, building plans and construction, furnishing and equipping, financing, management, audit services, and many more services for a better hospitality business. Nanet, service with a smile.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has called on President Muhammadu Buhari for the second time to stop giving Nigerians excuses, adding that the attitude was why he had not achieved results. The former president advised Buhari to buckle down, saying he is presently a failure. He said this at his presidential library at Abeokuta, Ogun State, while playing host to the new Nigerian 2019 group led by convener Chima Ayanso in complaint of Moses Siasia. As he did in the open letter he wrote about 3 months ago to the president, Obasanjo accused Buhari and his party All Progressive Congress of bringing hardship on Nigerian and run ineffective economic policy which had crippled businesses. He noted that it was uncharitable for the president and his party to continue to whine about challenges almost 3 years in office while they had failed to solve the challenges. Obasanjo warned Nigerians not to re-elect a failed government who always give one excuse or another for its failure to meet up with Nigerians' expectation. He said it would be foolhardy for Nigerians to reinforce failure by re-electing an ineffective and incompetent government in 2019. The former president also criticized the People's Democratic Party (PDP), urging Nigeria not to be deceived by its apology, arguing that neither the PDP nor APC could get Nigeria out of its economic mess. He said all hands must be on the deck to mobilize the grassroots and enthrone the kind of government that would take the country to its promised land. Obasanjo advised the group not to take anything for granted as there was work to be done. He urged the visitors to be worried of powermonger who might want to divide them using religion and tribe among others. Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose has said Buhari is presiding over the most corrupt government in the history of Nigeria and protecting looters of country commonwealth. He said Nigerians are seen through his deceit. He will no longer buy the fake image of integrity they were trying to sell. Citing the Transparency International Corruption Perception Index, which indicated that corruption has become more endemic in Nigeria than it was in the last 16 years. Fayose said any honorable government would have stopped using it to fight against corruption as its major achievement. He stated that the released name of the people that were still on trial as a looter was a cover-up for the government failure. He argued that the first list of the alleged looter released by the government was politically motivated, while the second one was an afterthought that was done to cover the shame of government because Nigerians questioned the first list. Fayose, in a statement by Special Assistant on Public Communication and New Media, Lady Olayinka, reiterated that Nigerians were more interested in their welfare, security of lives, and physical development of country than tales of concocted list of corrupt Nigerians who are only corrupt in the estimation of the government because they did not belong to the ruling or progressive Congress. He said the People Democratic Party never pretended to Nigeria that he had corrupt people in his fold, and the party never protected them. Today, the party has gone ahead to offload the corrupt element to the APC, and they were not only accepted gladly into the party, they were given prominent appointment by the president. According to Fayose, government that reinstated and promoted a former chairman of Presidential Task Force on Pension Reform, Abdullahi Mena, who was declared wanted for corrupt practices by the International Police Organization and dismissed in 2013 for alleged 2.1 billion pension fraud, and used the APC broom to sweep the $25 billion contract scam in the NNPC under the carpet, is nothing but the government of plunderers, and that is clear that definition of Buhari government. He added it was the same government that the Minister of Health, Isaac Adewale, suspended the National Health Insurance Scheme Executive Secretary, Professor Usman Yusuf, for alleged corruption. The president recalled him even without the knowledge of the minister.